Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is CJUFCPicks, the Smoke Sesh Mobile Edition. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video, share the video, and comment on the video who your picks are, your underdog, and your lock of the week. Make sure to comment on the video, and please subscribe. Help us get to 700 subscribers. We're almost there, and we appreciate all of your support. Thank you so much for tuning in to CJUFC Picks. Tonight, we are breaking down and predicting UFC Fight Night Cannonier versus Imavov. But before we do that, let's do a small quick recap of what happened on UFC 302 Makhachev versus Poirier. I did absolutely great on UFC 302. I went 10 out of 12 picks correct, which is very, very good on this card, very solid. And I had 5 bets that hit for UFC 302. So I had an excellent night, and I hope that you guys did too. Let's go over it real quick. First fight of the night, Andre Lima versus Mitch Raposo. I had Andre Lima to win by KO or TKO, and he got it done by decision. A lot of decisions on this card, ladies and gentlemen, but I still got the pick correct nonetheless. Next fight was Aileen Perez versus Jocelyn Edwards. Aileen Perez won that fight by decision. I got the pick correct and the outcome correct. My lock of the card, Basel Hafez defeating Mickey Gall in the decision victory. Very close fight, too close for my liking, but Basel Hafez still got it done. My first wrong pick, and he was my dog of the card. I'm talking about Phil Rowe going against Jake Matthews and losing to Jake Matthews via decision. Not a bad fight, but a little bit disappointed in Rowe's performance. We'll see how he does in his next fight. Good job, Jake Matthews. Good job. Next fight was Grant Dawson defeating Joe Solecki via decision. Got the pick correct, and that was an easy pick in my book because Joe Solecki pretty much got dominated in that fight. Same thing with this next fight. Gelton Almeida defeating Alexander Romanov via submission, and that's exactly what I predicted. Almeida by the submission, and that's exactly what happened. So Gelton Almeida won that fight, and he made it look pretty easy. Next fight, guys. Couldn't believe this went to a decision. I thought somebody was going to get stopped in this fight, but I still got the pick correct. I'm talking about Roman Kopylov defeating Cesar Almeida in a decision victory. Got the pick correct, as you can see. Same thing for this next fight. Got the pick correct, got the outcome correct. Randy Brown defeating Alezu Seletsky in a very close, good fight to start off the card, the main card for UFC 302. Nico Price upsetting Alex Morono via third round decision. I don't think Alex Morono should take any more short notice fights because he looked completely gassed after 2 rounds. Not a good look for Alex Morono. Not sure who he's gonna fight next, but I gotta keep a close eye on him so I can fade him the next time. And Nico Price still got it. I mean, he's older and slower, but he still got grit in him and dog in him. So Nico Price, good for you for getting that victory. And that was my second loss of the whole card. The rest of the card, I got it correct. I did pick Michael Oleksiejczuk in my original breakdown video and on my full card graphic, but at the very last second, right before the pay-per-view started, I did pick Kevin Holland to defeat Michael Oleksiejczuk. I did put him by knockout, but he won by submission in the very first round. Michael Oleksiejczuk, though, did drop him. He did drop Holland, so that take that with a grain of salt if you want. And then the co-main event, Sean Strickland defeating Paulo Costa via decision. Just exactly what happened and just exactly why I predicted that. Sean Strickland could be in line for a future middleweight championship fight. We'll see. And then the last fight, got the pick correct, got the outcome correct for UFC 302. Islam Makhachev defeating Dustin Poirier via submission in the very 5th round. I thought the fight was going to end earlier than that, but we all know that Dustin Poirier got that dog in him, and he even said it himself. That might be his last fight ever for the UFC, but we will see what happens with that. So that was the full card recap for UFC 302. As you can see, predictions 10 out of 12 correct, 3 perfect, 605 points on Tapology, and I'm doing great so far this year for UFC 3, for UFC in general. So let's move on to the next card, ladies and gentlemen, which is UFC Fight Night. Cannonier versus Imavov. It's going down on Saturday, June 8th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Early card. I love it. I don't gotta stay up until 1 o'clock in the morning. That kills me, but I do it for you all. And I do it to break down these fights. Let's get right into it, folks, because there's 14 fights in this card, and I'm going to try to make this quick as possible for you all. First fight of the night is Puja Tumar versus Ryan Amanda. Puja Tumar, 8-4, plus 195 underdog. Ryan Amanda, 14-7, minus 240 favorite. As you can see, my pick is Ryan Amanda. She's got way more experience. She's already been in the UFC. And I just like her fighting style better. Puja Tumar, she's okay. She's decent. You could say that there is a world out there that she can win this fight. But I don't think that's going to happen here. I think the jitters are going to catch up to her. I think the inexperience is going to catch up to her. And I think her little 4-fight winning streak is going to end on her UFC debut. I believe this is her UFC debut, right? Yeah. Now, she fought almost a year ago. She got a knockout, but I don't think she's going to knock out Ryan Amanda here. Give me Ryan Amanda to win via decision. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very, very good scrap here for the prelims. We have Cody Stamann versus Taylor Lapilus. Cody Stamann, 21-6, plus 175 underdog. Taylor Lapilus, 19-4, minus 210 favorite. Cody Stamann been in the UFC. He's fought the tougher competition, and he's got more experience than Taylor Lapilus. But Taylor Lapilus, he's a pretty decent fighter. He's got good striking, good movement on the feet, and he's a pretty good prospect for this division. He was on a nice winning streak before his last loss, and I think he's going to bounce back from that loss. I think he's going to win against Cody Stamann. It's going to be a tough fight for both gentlemen here, but I'm leaning Lapilus, and I think he's going to get it done via decision. Alright, next fight, ladies and gentlemen. Scheduled in the women's strawweight division, we got Eduarda Mora, undefeated at 10-0, minus 175 favorite, going against Denise Gomes, 8-3, plus 145 underdog. I love both of these women fighters, and I think both of them got a very bright future in the UFC, especially Eduarda Mora, undefeated at 10-0, never lost yet. She's on a 10-fight winning streak. Denise Gomes winning the last 3 out of her 5 fights. She's got power in those hands, and she's a tough female fighter. I like both of these female fighters here, but I have to go with Eduarda Mora to continue her undefeated streak. I think she's a more polished, more technical, and more well-rounded fighter in this fight, but Denise Gomes is the more dangerous fighter in my opinion. So I wouldn't be shocked if Denise Gomes wins this fight, but I have to go with Eduarda Mora to win via decision in this fight, and that's my pick. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen. This is another sneaky banger right here in the men's bantamweight division. We have Daniel Marcos, 15-0 at -110 favorite. Oh, it's a pick'em going against John Castaneda, 21-6, -110. So this is a pick'em, and I was definitely going back and forth on this fight as well. So I can see why the bookies made it a pick'em fight, because Daniel Marcos undefeated at 15-0. He's on a nice winning streak right there. John Sexy Mexi Castaneda, he's got that dog in him. He's got a 2-fight winning streak, winning the last 4 of his 5 fights, which isn't bad. Both are around the same age. Man, I'm still going back and forth on this fight, but my gut and my heart is telling me that Daniel Marcos is going to continue his undefeated streak and win this fight. Not 100% confident on that. I might stay away from this fight completely because I don't trust it. But my pick for this fight will be Daniel Marcos, and I think he's going to get it done by decision. Next fight, guys. Scheduled in the women's flyweight division. Here's another fight that I'm going back and forth on. I have Andrea Lee versus Montana De La Rosa. Andrea Lee, 13-9, 35 years old, 5'6", 69.5-inch reach, -125 favorite. Montana De La Rosa, 12-9, +105, 5'7", with a 68-inch reach. Both of these women are on a terrible losing streak, especially Andrea Lee. 4-fight losing streak, no bueno. Same thing for Montana De La Rosa, a 3-fight losing streak. Man, I really don't know who to pick in this fight. I just picked Andrea Lee because she's got more fighting experience. She's just more experienced, more well-rounded, and I think she's fought the tougher competition in my opinion. Honestly, I might stay away from this fight. I'm not gonna bet it whatsoever, but my pick is Andrea Lee via decision. Next fight, guys. Here's another sneaky banger fight right here. This card is not bad, not bad at all. We got Brad Katona going against Jesse Butler in the men's bantamweight division. Brad Katona, he's 13-3, -500 favorite. That's crazy. Going against Jesse Butler, 12-5, +380 underdog. Brad Katona winning the last 4 out of 5 fights, losing his last fight to Garrett Armfield. That was a dog. That was a dog fight right there. That was a war if you watched that fight. And then Jesse Butler losing to Jim Miller, an old ass Jim Miller, and that's why I'm picking Brad Katona. Brad Katona is tough. He's gritty. He keeps coming at you. Jesse Butler is also tough and gritty, but I think Katona has more toughness and definitely more dog in him. I like Brad Katona to win this fight, and I'm going to take him by knockout, TKO, or DQ. Next fight, guys. Here's another sneaky little banger fight. We got Charles Radke versus Carlos Prates. Charles Radke, 9-3, +165 underdog. Carlos Prates, 18-5, -200 favorite. And this is an interesting fight. This is going to be a very close fight, closer than the number says. Charles Radke, the Chuck Buffalo, the dude is a motherfucking dog. He doesn't quit, and he will fight for your money. I almost picked him in this fight. I still want to pick him for this fight, but I think Carlos Prates, more technical, more well-rounded, faster on the feet, and he's going to pick his shots in this fight. He's fought the tougher competition. He's got more experience under his belt. That's why I'm picking him. I think Prates wins. Not sure how he gets it done. Maybe decision or submission, but I might stay away, man. I might stay away because I do think Carlos Prates wins this fight, but I would not be shocked if Charles Radke finishes Carlos Prates, and that's all I'm going to say. So give me Carlos Prates to win. Not very confident, but he is my pick. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen. Scheduled featured prelim fight in the men's lightweight division. We got Thiago Moises versus Ludovic Klein. Thiago Moises, 18-7, plus 115 underdog. Ludovic Klein, 21-4, minus 135 favorite. And I'm not gonna lie, folks. Ludovic Klein is one of my most favorite fighters in the men's lightweight division. Thiago Moises, though, he is dangerous anytime the fight goes to the ground because he can submit you at any moment. He's won the last 3 out of his 5 fights. Ludovic Klein won the last 4 out of his 5 fights. I think Ludovic Klein is just faster on the feet, has more power in his hands, better fight IQ, and he's on a nice little winning streak. If it wasn't for this draw right here against Jai Herbert, or a majority decision, so you could say that he's on a 5-fight winning streak. Give me Ludovic Klein to win this fight via decision, and he is my pick. Might throw him in a parlay, to be honest. I like that minus 135 number. Next fight, guys. First fight on the main card, scheduled in the men's welterweight division. We have Punahele Soriano versus Miguel Baeza. Punahele Soriano, plus 140 underdog, and his record is 9-4. Miguel Baeza, minus 170 favorite, and his record is 10-3. Punahele Soriano losing the last 4 out of his 5 fights. Not a good look. Not trustworthy. Same thing goes for Miguel Baeza, losing the last 3 out of his 5 fights. Not a good look and not trustworthy. You cannot trust any of these fighters right here, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're going to bet this fight, I would bet some props like the under 2.5, maybe the under 1.5. Fight doesn't go the distance because someone's going to get finished in this fight. And I think Punahele Soriano is going to learn from his mistakes. I think he's going to win this fight via knockout, TKO, or DQ. Punahele Soriano is probably the more dangerous and more powerful fighter, while Miguel Baeza is the more polished, well-rounded, and technical fighter. So give me the more dangerous and more powerful fighter on this fight, Punahele Soriano. I'm not going to give up on you, buddy, but whoever loses this fight might get cut from the UFC. So they're basically fighting for their jobs. And Punahele Soriano, I think, has more grit to get it done. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen, scheduled in the men's middleweight division. We have Julian Marquez versus Zach Reese. Julian Marquez, 9-4, minus 115 favorite. Zach Reese, he is 6-1, minus 105. This is basically a pick'em. Julian Marquez been in the UFC longer, fought the tougher competition. Zach Reese just recently made his UFC debut not too long ago. This is going to be a close fight. That's why it's a pick'em. Julian Marquez definitely got more power. Zach Reese is going to tower over this dude by 2 inches and has a 5-inch reach advantage, which I think is going to come into play in this fight. I think the height advantage and the reach advantage should help Zach Reese win this fight. I think he's going to bounce back from his previous loss and give Julian Marquez his 3rd loss in a row, taking his number 55 spot in the middleweight division, going up the rankings. Zach Reese is my pick, getting it done by knockout, TKO, or DQ. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. Scheduled in the men's middleweight division, another middleweight fight. Bruno Ferreira versus Dustin Stoltzfus. Bruno Ferreira, 11-1, minus 275 favorite. Dustin Stoltzfus, 15-5, plus 215 underdog. Bruno Ferreira's got power, dynamite hands. He can knock you out at any moment. He's got power, guys. Dustin Stoltzfus winning only the 2 out of his 5 fights. And he won his last fight, surprisingly, against Punahele Soriano. And I made Punahele Soriano my lock of the card. Not sure why I did that. I just don't think Dustin Stoltzfus is UFC caliber, and I'm still sticking with that. I don't think he's that great, to be honest. I mean, he's 15-5. He hasn't beat anyone of a significant name. Dwight Grant and Punahele Soriano. Meh. You know what I mean? Bruno Ferreira, though, he's looking to knock your head off. And I think that's what's going to happen in this fight. I think he's going to knock this dude out. Dustin Stoltzfus, I'm sorry, man. I'm going to have to fade you once again. Give me Bruno Ferreira to win by knockout, TKO, or DQ. And I love that minus 275 number. Not a bad number, actually, to throw in a parlay right there. Next fight, ladies and gentlemen. Scheduled in the men's bantamweight division, we have Raul Rosas Jr. versus Ricky Turcios. Raul Rosas Jr., 8-1, minus 250 favorite, going against Ricky Turcios, 12-3, plus 200 underdog. I think that line is too wide, to be honest. Raul Rosas Jr., still very young, still learning, still not even in the prime of in his career. He's only 19 years old, okay? Only 9 professional fights under his belt. Compared to Ricky Turcios at 12-3, he's got more UFC experience and he's fought the tougher competition by far. But I think Raul Rosas Jr. has the potential to win this fight. He's got the wrestling, the grappling to win this fight, and I think he's going to be faster as well. Ricky Turcios, nobody to sleep on. He's won the last 3 of his 5 fights, which isn't bad. So he does have a chance to win this fight. That plus 200 number is way off. So I wouldn't blame anyone for picking Ricky Turcios. But my heart, my mind, and my gut is telling me that Raul Rosas Jr. will win this fight in a pretty close decision. Next fight, guys, scheduled to be in the co-main event of the evening for UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus Imavov. The co-main event scheduled in the men's light heavyweight division, we have Dominic Reyes versus Dustin Jacoby. Dominic Reyes, 12-4, plus 185 underdog. Dustin Jacoby, 19-8, minus 225 favorite. Dominic Reyes used to be one of the top fighters before going on that 4-fight losing streak. His last win was 4 years ago to an old-ass Chris Weidman. Almost 5 years ago, his last win. I'm not sure how or why he's still in the UFC. Dustin Jacoby winning the last 2 out of his 5 fights. He lost to Alonzo Menifield, Azamat Murzakanov, and Khalil Rountree. Not bad losses. He did win against Kennedy Azenchuk and Don Eun Young. And I think he's going to win this fight as well, because Dominic Reyes has no chin whatsoever. Dustin Jacoby has sneaky KO power. He's going to have the more fighting experience. Dominic Reyes, former title contender, so he's probably fought the tougher competition. But Dustin Jacoby has more UFC experience, and I think he's going to get it done by knockout, folks. I think he's going to knock Dominic Reyes out, handing him his 5th loss in a row. And I think Dominic Reyes is sadly going to get cut from the UFC after this, probably going to the PFL or something like that. Next fight, guys, is the main event of the evening, scheduled to be in the men's middleweight division. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video, share the video, and comment on the video. Usually I have my co-host Gibbs joining me for these breakdown videos, but this past weekend, guys, I was just way too tired to come on Sunday and do a show. So he couldn't come on today because of work. You know how that goes. He'll be back on though. Don't worry, guys. He'll be back on. This fight scheduled to be 5 rounds. Jared Cannonier, 17-6, plus 120 underdog. Nasruddin Imavov, 13-4, minus 140 favorite. This is going to be a scrap right here, ladies and gentlemen. And I think Jared Cannonier is going to win this fight. Jared Cannonier's got more experience. He's got knockout power for days. He's got that dog in him. He's won the last 4 of his 5 fights. Nasruddin Imavov winning only the last 3 out of his 5 fights. He's got a no contest again with Chris Curtis because of an accidental clash of heads, and losing to Sean Strickland, a former UFC middleweight champion who just fought Paulo Costa. Jared Cannonier, man, he's fought Israel Adesanya, he's fought Kevin Gastelum, Derek Brunson, Sean Strickland, and Marvin Vettori. So one can say that he's fought the tougher competition, definitely has more experience under his belt, and that's why he's my dog of the card for UFC. Cannonier versus Imavov this Saturday. Jared Cannonier will cash my dog ticket, and I got him by knockout, TKO, DQ, or decision. That's gonna be my pick and my prediction for this fight. Nasruddin Imavov, don't get me wrong, the dude is very good. He's a young and upcoming prospect, and possibly even a future title contender. I just like Jared Cannonier better. Even though he's 40 years old, he still fights like he's young. He still fights like he wants the title, and he still fights like he wants to knock your block off. And I think he's gonna do that right here in this fight. I think he's gonna knock out Nasruddin Imavov in this fight. So yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That was the breakdown for UFC Fight Night. Cannonier versus Imavov going down on Saturday, June 8th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not miss it. It's going to be a very good card. A lot of good fights on it. And we'll be back this Sunday with Gibbs to break down the next card, which is UFC Fight Night Perez versus Tyra. Tatsuda Tyra versus Alex Perez. That's going to be a very interesting fight. So stay tuned for that. Gibbs will be on here for that. Thank you so much for watching us, folks. We really, really appreciate it. All of your support, all of the new subscribers, all of the subscribers that have already been here. Even if you haven't subscribed and you're just checking it out, thank you so much for all of your support. And thank you so much for all the views, all the likes, all the comments. Keep it coming. We love it and we appreciate it. Thank you so much for tuning in. CJUFCPicks, the Smoke Sesh. We're out of here. Peace.